Most gardeners hate weeding, so any tool that makes the job easier is an easy sell. But how do you choose from the hundreds of tools available? Well, I've pulled together 6 of the most popular tools to put them through their paces. Let's take a look at what may well become your new best friends in the garden. So let's start with the Cobra Head. Now the website boldly claims this is the best tool in earth. See what they did there? And it's certainly becoming a favourite of mine, having used it for only a couple of days. And there's a lovely story behind it. The Cobra Head was invented about 20 years ago when the inventor was using a 5-tined cultivator hoe to weed around his bed. Anyway, one of the tines broke off and he thought, well, I might as well use that individually. And the rest, as they say, is history. Now you can really see how the Cobra Head gets its name from this kind of snake-like appearance. The handle is made from 100% recycled plastic, which is nice, and the whole thing's made in Wisconsin. It's a lovely piece of kit. I'd like to emphasise, by the way, that nothing today has been sponsored, and all of the views I share today are just my own. I have to say that because of its small size and the way it's held, it feels very much like an extension of my own arm in a way, and the narrow head makes it super flexible and really great for getting into tight spots. Now there is a mini version for even closer working and a long-handled version to save your old back. I reckon this is one of the Cobra Head's key strengths actually. It's really precise, which means you can work in and around your plants without fear of disturbing them because there's just this one tine. And the way to use it is very straightforward. You just kind of stab it in behind your weed and hoik it out like that, give it a tap and you're good to go. Now this would be fantastic for working in and around my raised beds where I really don't want to disturb the roots of neighbouring plants. And it's this precision which will make it, I'm pretty sure, a firm favourite for close, intimate weeding like this. The rest of the tools we'll be looking at today are long-handled tools, and we'll start that lot with this Swo style hoe from Wilkinson Sword. The polished stainless steel head has not 1 but 3 angled edges here, which means no matter which direction you're moving the blade, you're likely to slice off those pesky weeds. The handle is made from ash and feels reassuringly solid. Let's get this into the soil, shall we? And there you go, you can see that it's definitely cutting the weeds on both the forwards and the backwards stroke. And this pointed little end here makes it great for kind of getting right into those tight spots. It reminds me of those spray mops you get that kind of glide around on the pole and kind of weave in between legs of chairs and so on. I mean, it's kind of dancing over the soil surface and just sliding effortlessly along and making short work of this. Like all tools, the blade will need sharpening from time to time to keep it super slicing sharp. But I reckon what I got here is a really dependable long life tool, and it even comes with a 10-year guarantee. As you can see from its appearance, this tool from Corona is perhaps more intended for raking and levelling the soil than weeding. Now it's got a really kind of firm grip in the hand here. It's really satisfying to hold, and because it's so narrow, this is perhaps ideal for smaller beds where a larger rake might be a little bit more cumbersome. Now you could use it just like a normal rake by moving it around in the soil to stop weeds from ever gaining a foothold, but let me show you another way of using it for weeding. Clumps of weeds like this sort of great big clump of grass here can be tricky to lift out or indeed scratch away. They take a lot of clawing at, which is where this tool comes in. Just kind of insert it behind the weed like that and then lift it up towards you like that, and you've got it out all in one go, and you can just shake the soil loose then and add it to your weed pile. Now this will get up a lot more of the roots than some of the narrower weeding tools we'll be looking at shortly. I have to say that one of the features of this that I'm really enjoying is this kind of comfort gel-like grip handle here, which means that for longer working sessions, it's not going to give those kind of sore marks you get in your hand. And the head feels really solidly made as well. I'm also finding this really handy for getting underneath those kind of at the surface spreading roots of weeds like nettles. Very handy. I've got a hunch that the Corona 7-tine rake is going to become a new favourite in the tool shed particularly for digging out those stubborn weeds. Next up, not one, but 3 tools to test on those weeds with a longer taproot, the likes of dandelions, docks and thistles. So first up, the greener Easy Weeder. Now this is the closest equivalent I could find to the more famous Grandpa's Weeder, which isn't available in my country, but the concept is exactly the same. You just kind of spear this prong head over your weed and then lever it out. Now the head itself is made of these 4 claw-like prongs, and it's of cast iron on a really lovely bamboo handle. It's certainly a handsome beast, but will it cut it? The Grandpa's Weeder was first marketed in 1913, so this style of weeder is certainly tried and tested, and it's really simple. You aim the prongs over the dead centre of your weeds in the middle of the crown like that, push it in with the foot plate, and then simply lever it out like that, and out comes your weed. It's so simple and very little effort, and then you can just kind of extract your weed like that, and off it goes onto your compost heap. Look at that, it's got all of the weed out. That is so satisfying. Now this kind of tool is primarily marketed at those who want to get rid of weeds from their lawns, the likes of dandelions and thistles and this kind of thing here. Look, that's come out perfectly as well. I like a few weeds in my lawn. It's good for wildlife, the bees and such like. But if you do want a pristine lawn that's just grass, well, I think this could be the tool for you. It's very easy to use and avoids using nasty weed killers and so forth. The Easy Weeder feels really well built, and while it's got this kind of moving part here, that's it. So I can see this lasting for a very long time. Directly competing in the same space as the Grandpa's Weeder or the greener Easy Weeder is this, the Walensee Weed Puller. I reckon I'm going to have quite a bit of fun with this because it's kind of got the look and feel of a kind of pogo stick about it, don't you think? But let me show you how it works. The aim of this is very similar to the last weeder. You just put the 3 little prongs centrally over your weed, drive it home with the little foot pedal, and then this time we're giving it a nice twist like that, pull it out, and then, this is the clever bit, you can just eject it with this little kind of plunger at the top here. Look at that. Now one criticism is that the prongs are very close together, so you've got to be really quite accurate to get it completely squarely over your weed. I got most of the root from this dandelion here, but kind of missed the root from this one, so you have to be precise. Now the marketing bump says that this can be used on all sorts of other weeds other than tap-rooted ones, so let's go and check that out. It's maybe got more moving parts than the kind of greener Easy Weeder. Feels a little bit more flimsy, but it could potentially speed things up, but I think so far the greener Easy Weeder is winning for me. I'm finding it's not getting quite as much root out as well. It's possibly because the soil is so claggy and wet here, but that is a major flaw. I think this is probably better suited to drier soils. Our last tool doesn't have any moving parts. Instead, it's got this corkscrew-like head which digs out the weed a bit like an auger. Now, like the last tool, the head is made of stainless steel and it's got this rather sleek ash T-handle here. So, well, it's definitely winning in the looks department at least. It's also got a 15-year guarantee, which is pretty good. Here's how it works. Get it over your weed, this time a dock, and then we're going to just twist it down like this as if we're opening a bottle of wine, which might be just reward for all of this weeding. Get it in as far as it'll go. Once it's stopped, yank it out like this. Oi! There we go. That's got all the weed and its root out. Very satisfying. So the question is, which of these 3 tools primarily aimed at tap-rooted weeds is best? Well, this one's pretty effective. It's getting an awful lot of the roots up, as you can see, but I think the main drawback of it is this, kind of twisting it free rather than just shaking it off or ejecting it off like the last 2. But look, it is getting all the weed roots up, so that's pretty fair. The other mild concern, although it feels very solid, is that it's joined just by these kind of union here, and I just worry that with all that twisting in quite heavy ground, it could potentially snap, but it does feel really solid, so maybe that's an unfair kind of concern. Another thing I would say is that if you are using this in a lawn, well, it's pulling out an awful lot of soil there, so you're going to leave much bigger holes in your lawn. So I think this one is best reserved for perennial or vegetable borders away from grass. All of these tools work and each has its strengths. For me, it's the Cobra head that wins out for close quarters weeding. It allows you to get in and around fluidly and naturally as an extension of your hand. Then it's the Swow style hoe from Wilkinson Swords that's really great for shaving off annual weeds as your go-to general hoe. And then for those clump forming weeds, well, the Corona 7-tine rake makes short work of those. And for those longer tap-rooted weeds, well, I reckon it has to be the Greener Easy Weeder, just for ease of use, and especially for using them in lawns. I hope you found this all useful. I know that armed with this little lot, weeding is going to turn from a chore to a pleasure. I've really enjoyed your company today, even if we have got a bit grubby. But I will catch you next time.